Hi, my name is Emma and I am the Youth Ministry Director at St. Peter's. Welcome to the recap of our first 9th grade confirmation session. For those of you who don't know, we are using a program called Purpose, and this was designed and created by an organization called Life Team. They create faith formation programs for youth groups to use across the country, and they're really amazing at what they do. And so when we found Purpose, we felt like it would be a great option for your confirmation prep this year. On October 6th, our first session, we covered the topic of seeking. In this session, we talked about how all of us have different desires and longings in our hearts that cause us to seek certain things to be able to satisfy and fulfill those desires. So oftentimes we think, if I can just buy that one thing, if I can obtain that something that I've been wanting or seeking, if I can achieve a certain thing or have a certain experience, then I will be happy and I will live a good life. For example, let's take popularity. I think that being popular will make me happy because if I'm popular, that means that I have a lot of friends. And if I have a lot of friends, then I'll always have people to do stuff with and I'll never have to be alone. I don't have to do anything alone because if I'm alone, then I feel sad. I don't like being alone. And so if I can be popular, then I'll have people in my life all the time. So while being in a relationship and having people in your life is a good thing, there's actually a core desire with seeking this popularity that's kind of at the root of it. And I would say the two main ones are to be in relationship. We all do have a longing and a desire to truly be known by others and to be loved and to also love in return, right? And so a desire for relationship would probably be driving the seeking of popularity, right? The other one is mental and emotional well-being, right? Because this person wants to be happy. They're seeking to be popular so that they don't have to be alone, because when they're alone, they feel sad. But if they can be popular, then they can be mentally and emotionally well off, right? They can be happy. And so a lot of the things that we seek or the things that we want have a core good that we are desiring. These usually fall into some kind of category, and these are the main ones: physical health, mental and emotional well-being, relationship, achievement, and knowledge and competence. So being able to take the knowledge and the things that you know and apply them well. So sometimes the way that we seek to fulfill these needs or these core goods that we are desiring can become disordered. For example, if we go back to the popularity example, wanting to have relationships, again, is a good thing. But when popularity becomes our ultimate end and the only thing we care about, because it's the only thing we believe will actually make us happy, we can kind of lose sight of what's actually important. Maybe the other person in my grade that's also popular has more friends than me. And so in order to have their friends become my friends, I now have to gossip about that person and make them look bad so that I can have more friends. But this is what's going to make me happy, right? So I'm just going to do it anyway. Or maybe I've been trying to be popular and I don't actually achieve it in the way that I was expecting. Therefore, I fear that I'll never actually be happy because I didn't achieve popularity. And so now I might be tempted to despair and to give up, right? Another example, if you guys have seen the movie of The Incredibles, there's a character in the movie named Buddy. And I would say he's more of Mr. Incredible's sidekick at the beginning, in a way. He wants to be known, he wants to be appreciated, he wants to be helpful, and he wants to be a hero, just like Mr. Incredible. And what does Mr. Incredible tell him? He says, "Fly home, buddy. I work alone." And so what does Buddy do? He says, "Okay, fine. You're not going to love me and care about me. I'm going to figure out my own way to do this." And he starts to seek power and money and fame, right? And he wants to be on top. And so while he does achieve some really nice technology and some really cool things, he gets a beautiful girlfriend, right? He's grasping for all of these things, but by the end of the movie, he actually, as you all, if you've seen the movie, you know, he becomes the villain. He ends up losing his girlfriend, feeling alone and angry, hurting other people, killing other people, and ultimately, spoiler alert, sorry, he ends up dying, right? His cape gets stuck in the fan propeller thing and he ends up dying. And so all of these things that were initially good things, right? To be known, to be seen, to want to be helpful, to be enough, to have a relationship with Mr. Incredible and to be a hero, right? Those are good things. But the way in which he was seeking them out did not ultimately fulfill him. So now I want you guys to think about, what are the things in your life that you want or that you're seeking? What are the core goods that are maybe underlying those things that you're seeking, that you're wanting? For example, maybe you play a sport and this is your life, right? I play soccer and I'm really good at soccer. I want to play in college. I'm going to go pro. And I fulfill all my time with soccer. This is my ultimate end, right? Well, what happens when you get an injury? Or what happens if you don't make your college team that you were dreaming about, or if you don't get to the pro league? While there are so many goods in sports, and we should play sports, sports are awesome, right? There's a lot of really good, important lessons to be learned in sports, and they're really awesome. But if it becomes our ultimate end and the only thing that we think will fulfill our happiness and our desires, we're gonna be let down in the end, because the sport will end at some point. Or, for example, wearing a certain brand, right? The girls I talk to, sometimes they really like Lululemon. I like Lululemon. It's a great brand, right? It's comfortable. It lasts a long time. It's super flattering. However, a lot of times we feel like if I don't have a certain amount of Lulu, or if I don't fulfill this status or look a certain way, then I won't be accepted. And so I have to achieve this amount of Lulu or this new style at Lululemon to be accepted. But sorry to say it, eventually your Lulu will go out of style, or you won't fit it anymore. Or you might have all the Lulu in the world and look the part and still get rejected. And so what do you do when your Lululemon and your sports or your video games or your achievement in school fails you? Because ultimately all of these things are temporary, but yet our longings and our desires for these core goods, they continue. So we have two options. We can say, all right, this material world is just not gonna cut it for me. Is this all there is? And we can go into despair and realize that we'll always come back feeling empty. We'll always come back to feeling like it's just not enough. And we're constantly seeking and looking for other things to fulfill that. Or we can say, maybe these longings and these desires actually point me to something greater than myself and point me to something greater than this world. C.S. Lewis, who is an awesome Christian philosopher and writer, says something along the lines of, if I find in myself a desire that cannot be fulfilled by this material world, then that has to mean that I was made for something outside of this world. And so I'd like us all today to think about, what are the things that I'm wanting? What are the things that I'm seeking? And what is the core good? Is it relationship? Is it just happiness? Is it love? Is it achievement? These are all really good things. And we can enjoy the things of this world to help us have some kind of temporary satisfaction and to really enjoy them, because God gives those to us as well. But they must not become our ultimate end, because they're not eternal. They're going to fail us. They're going to end eventually. And so I'd like us all to reflect on, how can we also pursue our eternal end? What kinds of things help lead us to an eternal happiness with our Lord when we are reunited with him in heaven? So as you complete the assignment that is attached below, feel free to reach out to me with any questions, and best of luck thinking about these deep, awesome questions that will ultimately help you to turn to the Lord.